So I said, Sam, it's a cock and balls. And I said that a bunch of times.
It's a cock and balls.
Because people didn't understand that no law firm would have the logo of a cock and balls. You see. So anyway, look, welcome to the Richard Lewis Show. I'm your host, Richard Lewis. Sam's the producer. You know the drill. Let's start. I wasn't going to talk about the Phantom Lord thing on this, but there's been new information come to light. I'm a bit, subs are all coming in. I'm getting lick my balls all over the place. Lick my cock and balls, right? So look, apart from the fact, like, Sam, you know, you've seen a lot of cease and desist letters, you know.
Well, as soon as I saw it, I tweeted, I scrolled down, I saw a cock and balls, and I literally, it's a joke. Like, do you really think any lawyer's got a cock and balls? Like, what? Like, the rest could be, like, officially FBI signed off, and if at the bottom there's a cock and balls, I'm still not believing it then.
Yeah, if you took the F and the B, and the I was like three little lines coming out the top, no one would take the FBI seriously, would they? Like, you know, it's so retarded. But anyway, look, so it's been a long time since I did English at school, right? Now, do you remember those, you always have to do this, these stupid poems, you know, where it's like, you know, I is for nya, and then you write it down and it says like, I love you down here. They're called acrostics. Right. Now, I haven't done an acrostic obviously since I was a kid. It's just, they're such a base art form. They're so shit, you know. I just completely forgot they existed. Well, on the fucking letter, like, this hoax is so good.
It is good.
Please, if you did it, like, honestly, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not mad. I swear to God, I wasn't mad last night when I laughed about it. We think it's fucking hilarious because you did actually convince, like, guys at Omnia Media that it was genuine. People are being told to pull videos because of this.
The most seriously.
Right. So anyway, when you go down the side on mine, right, it spells. Yeah. Get that. Hang on. I think I got the image here probably. I don't know. Let me just see. I probably don't actually because I closed. I never thought we'd talk about it again. But anyway, it spells fake news for me. It spells fake news on mine, and it's a different acrostic on each of the cease and desist letters. For example, the one I screenshotted from Mr. Atozi, which I can give you the Gyatso for that if you want to bring this one up, Sam.
I've got your one now as well.
Good. So you'll see, you know, fake news, right? Which obviously is personal to me, isn't it? Because I'm a journalist. Fake news. That's funny. That's an extra joke. Mr. Atozi's just says, eat my dick. Eat my dick. Right. So I wondered why the quotes were so random and stupid and why words had been picked out of the middle of sentences. I thought this was because the person was lazy. Actually, they went to great effort to do this.
And then Hybrid Pandas says, fuck you. Just the old simple fuck you.
The old classic fuck you and a cock and balls.
Yeah, this is next level, like, fair play.
Yeah, I think this is really fucking funny, and I'm hoping it's someone cool that's done it. You know, I hope this isn't like, you know, like, I don't know, part of that little collective. You know, the we're no longer on Twitch brigade. But this is really fucking funny, and as I said, the fact that anybody took this seriously is just fucking hilarious to me. So yeah, what an absolute legend! If you want to call into the show, we don't usually do call-ins, but we're on standby right now. If you're out there. Like, we'll draft you in. You're in. Step up to the plate. We will stop whatever we're doing to talk to you because we think this is fucking hilarious. Seriously. And again, you know, I had so many people messaging me, like even like an Anomaly. He won't mind me saying this because we talk. Anomaly said he said he was worried for a while because he'd used pictures of Phantom Lord in his videos, and I was like, I just listed it. I said, no law firm named, no signature. It's from a Gmail account. It's got a cock for a logo. It's got a cock for a logo, dude. So Anomaly was like, oh, yeah, I suppose.
Yes, I guess it is a knob.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a knob. It's definitely a knob, dude. I can't believe anybody fell for this, man. It's so brilliant. Like, so we're definitely calling if you are responsible for this and you can prove it to us by emailing off the Gmail account that you sent them from prior to coming on the show. We would love to get you on the show. Anyway, let's talk about what's been going on in the world. It's the usual shit show, just all sorts of crazy shit going on. So I guess we'll dive right in and we'll pick out a few little bits and pieces just to warm in. In fact, before we do that, fucking nearly forgot. We got to show off all the people who bought merch.
Oh yeah, shit. Let me get those. Lucky I keep them all in my little likes.
Yeah. Because I know we got a few. There's one guy. Do you remember? I just retweeted it.
Yeah.
You know what I said about? Yeah, you had to be a particular type of guy to be able to pull off the brown and orange with the glasses and the orbs. This good-looking motherfucker does it. He actually pulls it off. He's a handsome chap.
Show him first. There we go. Dan Drifts. Handsome bastard with the tattoos.
Yeah, good for him. Thanks very much for supporting what we do.
And then we've got a Quico or Mary Roy. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, nice one.
Shirt.
Yep.
What else am I in? Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, it just goes to show if you've got a big old set, you can fit them in these t-shirts. I just want to put that out there. So they are boob proof. So good job. That's a cracking picture.
Another person's SR shit posting who's been on before. He's correct.
Yeah.
Got another one, mate.
Right, good. Another one for the collection. Yeah, the mentally ill, the brain power one.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Yeah, brain power.
Brain power.
Zach Chandler with a Didn't Happen shirt.
Good name. Sounds like he should be the main character in a new series of the OC.
Zach Chandler is
California,
a bachelor.
California.
Anders Orstad with a Didn't Happen.
Oh, I thought you said Anders Horse Dad. I was like, what?
Sorry.
Like Anders is some sort of centaur. Yeah, good for him. Enjoying that.
Did we show this one? I think this is where we stopped. But Spencer W. Snark, thanks a lot.
Oh, yeah, but hang on. Who was the geezer? Is Spencer the geezer who took it at ESL Cologne?
No.
There was a guy who took one at ESL Cologne.
Oh, you might have to send that to me because I haven't
seen it. I'll have to find that.
I'll keep showing the ones I've got. You try and
you keep showing the ones you got, and let me just find them.
Bot Thunder with a fucking lizard, mate, for no reason. Just a lizard.
Yeah. Pet
Big man lizard.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, that's as far as I go back.
He's got a massive pet lizard. There was a couple more as well I retweeted today. There was one from IGL Gundabad.
Not bad.
Hang on, let me get you.
I got it.
Yeah. He bought the nice. I didn't even know we did a blue one of the Richard Lewis reports. That's nice. I might upgrade it, but obviously I'm a little bit overweight still, so I like to wear black because it an optical illusion. It slims you down, doesn't it? What is it in vertical stripes? Is that the other thing you're supposed to do?
So.
Vertical stripes.
I got the guy from ESL Cologne. I know this guy actually. He's supported our stuff for a while. So thanks, X-Defel. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh yeah, X-Defel. How could I fucking forget it was him? Yeah, X-Defel's been. He made that best of video.
Yeah.
I think so. Thanks for that, X-Defel. Took a photo of it at Cologne. What I actually liked as well was Pansy Didn't Happen.
Did she?
Yeah, fuck man. I should have got all this. We didn't really plan a show today, but someone found this. Pansy in the middle of a broadcast just said didn't happen. Right? Dropped it deadpan. Yeah, classic. So if somebody can find that clip for us, we'll play that on the show. But anyway, look, as I said, let's start with it didn't happen. All right. Somebody sent me this on Twitter, and this is low hanging fruit, right? Because it's so obvious it didn't happen, but it's a laugh, innit? It's a laugh, and sent by anonymous, but obviously like reblogged or whatever they call it on Tumblr a bunch. So here it is. This is right. This is ridiculous. Cheers. Thanks very much. Once a girl in my class stood at the front of the room and came out as a lesbian. Right now, again, just as a rule, I mean, look, again, you know me. I don't give a fuck. Whatever you want to do with your bits is your business. And I don't, it just seems strange to me that anybody would have hang-ups about it in this day and age. But whatever. But just as a rule, I didn't really know that there was like an opportunity to come out to your entire like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, did they do that in
at
school?
the podium or something?
Like, what we used to do when I was at school was you'd give the kids who couldn't shut up, you'd give them 5 minutes to get it out their system, right? So you could go on and teach the class without interruption. Maybe they're doing it now. All right, well, it's the 5 minutes to come out of the closet for anyone who wants to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But anyway, once a girl in my class stood at the front of the room and came out as a lesbian. The entire class started laughing at her and being plain rude. I stood up and silenced the whole class as I clapped. So this is...
You ain't silencing shit, man.
No, but think about it, though. What I like about this one is it's an inverted one, isn't it? Because usually you make all of them clap. But what you did this time was you clapped like this, and everyone went, you know. So, yeah, it's really good, right? So I stood up and silenced the whole class as I clapped. Then, when everyone was silent, I also came out as a lesbian. Boom! Boom! Double whammy lesbian. The Isle of Lesbos. Boom.
Yeah, stealing her thunder a bit, wasn't it? It was her coming out.
Yeah, I know. It's like...
getting married on the same day or something.
Yeah. You ever seen assholes who do that? They go to a wedding, they go to someone else's wedding, and they propose to someone at someone's wedding. Wow.
You do that at my wedding, I've never seen you again. Good luck, Eddie, my friend.
What level of narcissism are you on, dude? Like, what level of narcissism do you have to be on? Oh, it's someone's special day. Could it be my special day? Like, fuck you,
How
mate.
can we share some of this attention you're getting?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, someone's got the Pansy clip, Howley01. So, yeah, get it off him with a whisk file.
Oh, wait, not yet. I typed it wrong.
He'll get banned if he links it, won't he?
I can put it in. There you go.
Anyway. Then when everyone was silent, I also came out as a lesbian. The girl smiled and ran over to hug me, thanking me for getting them to stop. We became friends, and I soon developed the biggest crush on her. I asked her out, and she said yes. She had the same reply today when I asked her to marry me. None of this happened, did it? Like, yeah, massive didn't happen. It just didn't happen.
Pansies didn't happen.
Yeah. Just listen to it. Actually, we'll get Pansies didn't happen. In fact, we're not
things on Betway, so you can
we'll let
keep your eyes on the stats and all of that good stuff coming through. So keep your eyes on this one. It's going to be hard to break down which team's going to walk away with this.
Rush B, and there goes Flusha. Meanwhile, his team takes...
Alright, yeah, I'm trying to find out which part of it. She says, right, go to, like, 27 seconds left of it, because she hasn't said it yet.
Right, okay, good. Right, I'm there.
Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
It over, but FaZe is already here for the retake. This is going to be tough. A lot of pressure is going to be on Fnatic to get themselves in these positions to defend against it.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Two players, backs to the wall. Dennis and Crims, do your magic, Dennis. Let's go. Let's see that fit. Nah, didn't happen.
It's just really unfortunate.
There we go. I'll have to clip that so we can play that.
I'm telling you,
let's see that
if you tell me that she didn't do that for us, then I'm going to tell you something. I don't even know what I would tell you. But basically, yes. I'm talking about narcissism while simultaneously believing that anybody who uses the words "didn't happen" is talking about me and my show and my content. So yeah, maybe that could be a new donation sound, but then Pansy might be entitled to some of the donations. Maybe we'll get a fucking cease and desist letter with a vagina, like a vulva on it. Some lips, like it is. You know what I mean? Anyway, right, so that was the didn't happen. We did a didn't happen. Now, here's something, right? We've talked about bestiality on the show, right? And not really because we enjoy it or anything, but just because,
just coincidence, like.
Yeah, just a mad coincidence. But this. I couldn't believe this. The Guardian, towards the end of last month, The Guardian ran an article, and they put it under animal welfare, right? And it said bestiality. Which animals are most at risk, right? Now. This reads to me, maybe I'm mentally ill, because I don't really understand the point of this article, but this may as well say, bestiality, which animals are the sexiest? You know what I mean? Because why would you bring this up? Why, so it talks about studies and how people do it, and and
how people do it.
Yeah. Listen, right? Like it's like as in it did happen. Of the 31 states in the US with laws specifically about sexual acts between humans and animals, 16 impose a felony and 15 impose a misdemeanor. So let's be clear. There's more than 31 states in America, isn't there?
So in 19 states, I can fuck animals, is what you're trying to tell me now.
Basically, you can just, there's no consequence for this. So first of all, we're just going to casually publish that information. Like, get out there, you know what I mean? Like, so, but
Texas is proudly not on that list. I can tell by this map, of course, mate. Texas with the old 5 laws and done. No killing, no stealing. Other than that, do what you want.
So it's got a list. It's just got a list of animals, like, which just get it, basically, right? And it says here, right, horses, number 1, top of the list. Yeah, horses. Now, the thing is, obviously, I grew up on the internet, right?
Yeah, okay. So
we all know about that cunt who got wrecked by a horse, right? We all know that story. They even made a play about him, didn't he, called Equus.
Did they? They made a play about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me just find it. I'm pretty sure.
What kind of play is that, mate?
I'm not sure you want to... Is it Equus? Is that the one about having sex with an horse? Pretty sure it is, because equine means horses. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting that wrong.
Yeah, I've got it. I think Equus play. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know.
By Peter Schaefer, written in 1973. This tells the story of a psychiatrist who is attempting to treat a young man who has a pathological religious fascination with horses.
Yeah. And here's the thing, because he thinks the horses represent God, and he's religious, and he gets his religious fervor with sexual attraction to horses, I think. Right? So
started thinking horse semen was holy water. He got all fucked up.
Yeah. So anyway, we all know about. See, it turns out the play isn't about that guy, but there was a guy who also just got wrecked on. It's a famous video. Some guy died. He died of a perforated. I don't even know what got perforated.
Internal bleeding, basically.
Yeah. Someone got perforated. It's a well-known story anyway. But yeah. So horses right at the top. And here's the thing, though. It's like they're not even. There's nothing academic about this article. Like, look, it says recent examples from academia include, and then it goes horses. In 2009, so not that recent, right? A study in the Archives of Sexual Behavior about zoophilia. A 47-year-old married father of 2 describes his sexual interest in horses. Well, what's that got?
Yeah, this is just personal interest now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and they're presenting this as if it's academic, right? Like The Guardian. Weird, isn't it? This is June 2017, talking about one guy who was attracted to horses 8 years ago and trying to present it as academic. Now, there was a Channel 4 documentary years ago. I'm sure I've talked about this with you, right? Where it was called Animal Passions.
Right.
And let me just find it for you. There was a guy who married his horse. He married his horse. And nobody could stop him marrying his horse. Now I've got to find it.
I think I've got the entire video here.
Oh, if you have, I'm going to find you an absolute banging bit, because he went on he went on Jerry Springer as well. Yeah, this is it. Hidden Love, Animal Passions. This is the one. Right, so I'm going to find you this bit, right? Because first off, again, I don't want to make sweeping statements, but if you're out there marrying horses and having sex with animals, you're probably a bit wrong, aren't you? Like, I mean,
something's not right, is it?
Something's gone wrong. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I'm not smart.
There was a fork into the road and you took the wrong way. That's all I know.
Yeah. That's like you know. I don't want to judge you too harshly, but you're having sex with a horse. Though. Oh, yeah, so I am though. So let me just find this bit. There's this bit where he describes when he first becomes attracted to horses. And just listen to this story. I mean, apart from the fact like he died by the time this documentary came out of like just hepatitis or just something. Like, I mean, if that doesn't put you off sex with a horse, I don't know what will. Hang on. Let me just find it. Hang on. Oh, God. Right, here you go. All right, I think this is the right bit. Let me just fast forward ahead a little bit.
All right.
Oh. No, I got to get the right bit because he's got to kill a quote. It involves the words tail in the air.
Oh, this is about all different people.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. They do like, there's a woman who is in love with her dog and insists that her dog seduces her. It's documentary banging, guys. Like, really.
Dog comes into the room dressed in lingerie.
Right, just play it from 10:55. Play it from 10:55. Now, as I said, this guy married his horse. He went on Jerry Springer. Because, like Jerry Springer used to pose as being like a fucking document, like, oh, we're getting to the heart of social issues. And it was just like professional bear baiting. You know what I mean? The guy just comes in with his little horse with a bow in its hair. He's feeding it carrots out of its mouth, like this, right? And everyone, boo, boo, fuck the freak, boo. And Jerry's just like, this will stop people thinking about my own sleazy, corrupt lifestyle. You know what I mean? The whole thing is just gross as fuck. But anyway, just play this from 10:55. Yeah, 10:55.
3, 2, 1, go.
Come on.
Oh, we're zooming in on someone's head. Boy.
One of those who responded to Miletsky's survey was Mark. His story gives an insight into how and why someone might reject society for the love of an animal.
The first time I even had an inkling of sexual attraction or the idea of an animal as a sex object, I was 16 years old. A good friend of mine and I had been riding a little pony cart around near his grandparents' farm. And at the end of the ride, to take proper care of the equipment and the pony, he handed me a brush and a comb and told me to wipe the horse down, comb her, and brush her. And I got around toward the back end of that little pony, and she had her tail up in the air. And something just went ka-ching in the line. It's, girl pussy, pony pussy. And I looked around real quick and touched it.
We can probably stop it there. I think.
That was so much creepier than I was expecting. Like,
no, mate, you don't understand.
I looked around a little bit and I touched it.
Like, the next bit here that it's about to go into talks about how, like, society hated him and, like, girls didn't like him, guys didn't like him, so he was just driven towards horses. Like, it's insane. So anyway, back to this Guardian article, right? Like, I mean, this just isn't academic in any way, shape, or form. Next, right? Snakes. In at number 2, snakes.
How can snakes be the number 2 most fucked animal? There's no way.
Oh, I'm not. I mean,
these are in no particular order.
These have got to be in no particular order. Because remember, we did that. The whole reason we brought it up last time is we did that show about the grandma.
Yeah.
She's here. She's mentioned about the dogs. A 64-year-old woman was charged by police after having sex with a St. Bernard, a Black Labrador, and an Alsatian. She did say, once you go Black Labrador, you never go back Labrador. So anyway, but snakes, right? Now, here's the mad thing. Right, I don't know if I need to get better friends, Sam, because I remember when there was a video of a guy, because snakes have this thing, I can't pronounce it properly. Is it a cloaca or something? Sounds like Fozzie Bear from the Muppets, right? Cloaca, right? But I think it's where, like, the eggs come out of.
Right.
When they lay eggs, because obviously snakes lay eggs, right? And if you massage it, it'll open up. And on my Facebook feed, some guy had just posted "sick cunt," right, with the video though of a guy with a snake, dude. What is that?
Well, yeah.
Who?
Surely a sex toy is better than massaging a snake so her throat all opens, mate. There can't be any enjoyment in that. But fucking a snake, come on.
Who does that? Who posts that on Facebook? Says, yeah, I want all my mates to see that. And as long as I say something judgmental, sick cunt, no one will care.
Yeah, see, I'm not approving it. I'm just posting it.
Yeah. And bizarrely, cows. Right? Just cows. Where it's like New York police arrested a man in 2014 for allegedly attempting to have sex with a cow while another man filmed it. Now, just going back to the title of this article, which animals are most at risk? You haven't really answered that question, have you? You haven't really answered that question. You haven't.
It might as well have been called people who have fucked animals.
Yeah, it's just like 4 examples of animals being abused by sick people.
Yeah.
Right. It's even got a thing at the bottom saying they ran a different version of this article in 2016, and they published that a man had sex with a crocodile. But they had to admit that was fake news. Obviously it is. That's as fake as the cock and balls on the Phantom Lord cease and desist, isn't it? No one's having sex with a crocodile. How are you doing that? Who's that guy? He's a fucking hero. He's Hercules. You know what I mean? Zeus came back and went, you know what? Never done a crocodile. Done a swan, right? According to classic Greek mythology. Done all the animals. What is that, mate? As if somebody as well in the chat has just gone crocodile shunter. Not bad, Keltrager. You've been sat on that one for a while, mate. You've been sat on that one for a while, haven't you? Sat on crocodile shunter. So anyway, don't even know why I brought any of that up, really. Terrible way to start the show. Definitely banned off Twitch. But, cheap laughs, right? Cheap laughs.
Yeah. Not our first bestiality, but it won't be our last.
Yeah, total cheap laughs. Right, so where are we going to go next? There's a bunch of stuff. Oh, and we've talked about how people are trying to reclaim language. Like, I've talked about this a lot, right? Like, the term snowflake, people are, like, locked into a battle to, like, get it. And it means, our group gets it, and our group gets it. Look, here's what a snowflake is. A snowflake is somebody who believes that their feelings are paramount because they are unique and special, like a snowflake. That is where it comes from. It's been around a while. It was kind of driven into popularity with like Chuck Palahniuk's novel Fight Club. But we've all heard the term before. So Urban Dictionary, right, which is where people try, as far as I can tell, people try and hijack popular terms to mean whatever they want it to mean, divorced from the context of shared language, right? So here it is. Somebody took the time out of their shit life to write up this definition of snowflake. And you tell me if you can spot some problems with this, Sam, all right? Referring to someone, usually the alt-right, Yiannopoulos and Nazi sympathizers, aka Aryans, whose immense white fragility causes a meltdown when confronted with the most minute deviation from orthodox white supremacy. Did Tariq Nasheed write this? Did Tariq Nasheed write this? They often cry bloody murder when expected to give the most modest expression of basic human decency. All right. So again, no idea where they're pulling that from. This is all a continuation of how snowflake historically refers to people who were against the abolition of slavery. Nope. File not found. Like, absolutely not. That is a massive 404 on that one. No one was caught. The term snowflake has never been used for people who are against the abolition of slavery. Any article that claims that is full of shit. It's kind of like, how the F word that's used to mean a bundle of sticks, but also is used to or had a period of time where it was used to deride homosexuals. I won't say it because Destiny fans are watching right now, looking to clip things. Right. So that word, it was famously popularized on Louis C.K. actually. That word derives from the fact that they used to burn gays alive. I mean, it's a complete fabrication. There's nothing in the etymology. In fact, the etymology all points to that word actually being used exclusively to mean a ill-tempered woman. That's where it came from, because she was quick to combust like a bundle of sticks, you see. It's got nothing to do with gays being burnt alive. What you do is, you see, you invent a history to a word, and then you go around and police people who say the word, and they can't argue because, oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's all right. I just made that up now. Just made it up. Here's a cock and balls next to the definition, so you know it's true. The Aryans, right, in block capitals, have attempted to hijack this term to use against progressives and those opposing fascism. It failed ultimately because nobody was foolish enough to believe anti-fascist resistors to be, by any stretch of the imagination, comparable to the snowflakery of the Aryans and their Cheeto-dusted Führer. I guess that means Donald Trump, right? That's what they call him, isn't it? The orange Hitler. Cheeto-dusted Führer. But the Aryans succeeded in poisoning the well on calling people snowflakes when it became widely understood that they were using it as a euphemism for the human ashes falling in Nazi Germany when they were burning people. What they've done is, you see, what this mentally ill person has done has basically taken all of the atrocities in human history, like slavery, the Holocaust, and then just said, how can I make it look like the word snowflake would apply to this? So human ashes falling in Nazi when they burn people, they didn't do that. They gassed them and then burnt the bodies in mass graves. They didn't throw them up in the air and incinerated them and then gone, look, snow of ashes. Like, that never happened. So it makes no sense what you're saying. But of course, again, there are morons who would stumble across this and believe that, oh my God, I had no idea that the word snowflake meant these horrible things. This revelation became particularly useful for decoding the Aryan tendency of referring to snowflakes as a generation. Especially telling is the pseudo-concept of a snowflake generation, which operates as a front for the Aryans' need to mark out groups and direct their genocidal lust towards them.
What the fuck is this, mate?
It's beyond a joke, isn't it?
Genocidal lust. First time I've ever heard those two words put together, I think.
And it just it's mad, isn't it? So yeah, pretty crazy. So yeah, just so you guys know, don't worry. When people try and subvert the meaning of words to suit a political agenda, you just say, actually, fuck you. I'm not going to say the word you want me to, and I'm not going to take your meaning as having any more value than the meaning that we all use over here. Go fuck yourself. It's nice and easy. There you go. Right. Pride Month happened as well while we're on the subject of, kind of periods to reflect on marginalized groups. And obviously with Pride Month, there came a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of articles in the blogosphere about, it's gone so far now. I'm reading articles where it's like, Gay Pride Month is good, but what are the gays doing for trans people? Gay Pride Month is good, but what are the gays doing for Islam? Right. It's Pride Month, guys. It's Pride Month. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need any other causes. Like when they took the rainbow flag and they put like brown and black in it. Like, again, I understand what intersectionality is trying to achieve, but there is no place on a rainbow flag, which is a symbol of the LGBTQ, insert whatever any other 50 letters now apply after it. There's no place on that for anything to do with race. That's not what the symbol is about. That's not what the cause is about. And last time I checked, being black isn't a sexuality. But that's fine. I guess we just keep watering everything down until everyone is some sort of oppressed group within an oppressed group within an oppressed group until it's all meaningless. Let's definitely do that. Let's trivialize the struggles of genuinely marginalized groups. So, Skittles. You ever had a pack of Skittles, Sam?
Yeah.
This was last month. I mean, I've been meaning to bring this up on the show for ages because it's one of the most absurd attacks at a company I've ever seen. Like, keep in mind, right? Like, when Pepsi did that embarrassing advert, right?
Yeah.
That advert was. Yeah. That advert just was legitimately embarrassing. I mean, it was so ill-advised. The idea that we can all just come together over a Pepsi and, Here we go. I mean, I thought some people went too far. Oh my God, giving a drink to a policeman, this means you think black lives don't matter. Right.
Calm down.
Yeah, fucking simmer down. You know what I mean? Simmer the fuck down. But Skittles, right? What they decided to do was because their catchphrase, the slogan is "Taste the Rainbow."
Yeah. Taste
the rainbow, because they've got loads of different coloured flavour sweets in a bag, and you put them all in your mouth. Ow! It's like eating a rainbow. I can taste the rainbow, right? Because all the colours. Now, to show solidarity with gay pride, they said there is only one rainbow, and that is the rainbow that symbolises the LGBTQ SRPDZXY cause. So we are going to make our Skittles white.
Oh, I can already see what's happening there.
The colours now belong to them, right? The colours belong to the cause for this month. So you can see here, if you want to bring up the image, this is what the bags look like. Now, unfortunately, what this means is racist. They're racist, aren't they? So
how could just the colour white be racist? No, what? Not people, it's sugar, dude. Fucking sugary sweets.
Skittles decided to release a limited edition bag of candy with the sentiment that during Pride, only one rainbow matters. So we've given up ours to show support. Many in the LGBTQ community embraced the action and recognized the brand for showing support. Others accused the white candy of being racist. And apparently, this is because what you're saying, first of all, you're choosing white as the color, which is obviously white supremacy. That's white preference, isn't it? It couldn't just be because that is what something sort of you can't make something transparent. You can't make him invisible, can you? So, I mean, I think obviously if we could do that, that's what you would do. That's what something devoid of color is. But generally, something devoid of color is represented as being white. That's just how it is. It's not because we are white centrist or whatever. It's just that's the closest we can get to transparent. Black is very much a color in that sense. But anyway, so yeah, Skittles basically got accused of white privilege, white supremacy, and how dare they do that? So, needless to say, you've got nowhere to move these days. If you try and show solidarity with a noble cause, and you don't do it in a way that, and someone will always find a way to be offended, of course. If you don't get it right, then you just get fucked over. And I think they had to issue some mealy-mouthed apology for this. So there you go. Skittles are racist now. Skittles, the world's most really, that multicolored candy where all candy is equal in the bag. On top of that, right, Katy Perry. By the way, I don't.
I've just been watching her lose her motherfucking mind for the last year. It feels like.
Yeah, I gotta say, what is going on, right? Like, she came out last month and she acknowledged that she made a mistake because she was guilty of cultural appropriation. Right, now again, here's my views on cultural appropriation. They're really simple. It's not real. Right? It's super easy. It's not real. It's not real in the sense that, oh my God, you have a cool culture. I'm going to steal that from you. Ha ha ha. It's now mine. In a way, I have colonized your brain with my evil whiteness. This is not real. This cannot happen. What does happen in multicultural societies, and what happens in a global society where we have increased connectivity with each other, we see elements of other cultures that we like, that we admire, that we think are cool, that we think are fun, that we think are interesting, and we try and take parts of it on board for ourselves to form our lifestyle that makes sense to us. Now, when I was growing up, and I went to college, one of the things that we read about extensively when I was studying English literature was kind of the Beat movement, this post-war movement of literature that happened in America. And one of the things central to a lot of these great writers is their reverence of the Buddhist philosophy stroke religion, right? Like Jack Kerouac, especially, think about books like The Dharma Bums and this kind of thing. But there was a lot of other poets, like Gregory Corso and Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Allen Ginsberg, especially when William Burroughs died, and he was a big reader, even though he was a lot older than that Beat generation in the 50s, William Burroughs loved the two things. He loved the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and he loved ancient Egyptian mythology. I mean, he also had a thing for centipedes and twisted gay sex, but Burroughs was a wild cat. Like, he is the original fucking father of cyberpunk. I don't care what anyone else says. One of the greatest minds of all time. Now, when Burroughs died, even though he'd been a heroin addict for most of his life, he lived to a ripe old age, still doing smack in his 70s. He had what they call a bardo, which is like a Buddhist ceremony for his funeral. Now, at no point when I was learning about this did anyone go, sir, is this not cultural appropriation? Can you imagine what literature would look like today if we didn't take things from other cultures and kind of like study them and take ideas from other cultures and other philosophies? Can you imagine what we'd actually have? We would be completely, we'd be so behind, right? And these great works of literature from the likes of Kerouac, from the likes of Burroughs, from the likes of Ginsberg, from all, and many more, subsequently, they wouldn't exist. Because somebody would be stopping from, assimilating or taking anything from a foreign culture. Now, it's completely ridiculous. And then just on an everyday level, right? Like, you see people complain about, you call that a sushi bar? That's just sushi for white people. What?
What does that mean?
Listen, is it good food in the style of, why can't I eat it? Why do I need to feel guilty about something? And it's like all of this other stuff. You see, do you remember that thing where somebody tried to shut down a kimono night at an art gallery?
No.
Yeah, well, right. There was you just Google that.
Right, okay.
Kimono night at art gallery, you'll find it. But anyway, basically, like, all the Japanese people who went thought it was brilliant that white people were wearing kimonos and Japanese clothing and were interested in Japanese culture. They all thought it was great. A bunch of fucking busybody middle to upper class white students go along and went, this is problematic actually, though you have to sit it all down. Like, what the fuck, guys? One of the best things about us being all connected is we can see how different people live, and we can assimilate and interpret and take those things into our own lives. Now, if that's what you call cultural appropriation, we've been doing that for hundreds and thousands of years. Do you think people in Britain, this tiny little fucking island, which got violently fist fucked by every nation that could wield a fucking sword for thousands of years, do you not think maybe at some point along the line somebody went, fucking hell, look at that, that's a good idea? Straight roads, cultural appropriation. Yeah. Sam, get rid of them. The Romans invented them. It's cultural appropriation. Let the Romans keep those straight roads. Yeah, why should the Celts that they conquered get the benefit?
Yeah, why should he even use tools, mate? Because, you know what I mean, the cavemen made the first hammer. It's kind of rude if I'm using this hammer. I should come up with my own.
Completely ridiculous, isn't it? So, whenever I see people talking about cultural appropriation, I'm immediately fucking cynical. But here's Katy Perry, right? And by the way, I mean, just what is happening to her, mate? She looks like fucking Marilyn Manson there. I never just bring up a fucking woman's looks.
Fucking hell, I didn't even see that. What?
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
Mental.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
She literally does look like a 90-year-old Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, but right, but here's why I bring that up, because I think when people start looking strange outwardly, very much like Ming, the merciless, when Ben became Ming, I was like, he's dyeing himself green every morning. I think he might have a mental health problem. And I think sometimes you can look outwardly at how somebody looks and how they're taking care of themselves and how, and maybe make some assumptions about whether or not they're well. And she's looking, like
not well.
Yeah, not well. Like I'm going to say it. Like she looks like somebody that's going through some sort of like mental health crisis. And, I don't understand why she's like publicly apologizing for cultural appropriation. It seems to me completely absurd. But look, I'm going to give you some more specific examples. Nice zoom in, Sam. Good job. I knew that was coming. She actually came out and said, these are the things that I've done that are wrong. And she apologized. Now, I keep telling people the last thing you do to any group that wants to label you a racist when you're not, that wants to label you a homophobe when you're not, that wants to use made-up words like Islamophobe or, whatever the fucking trend is this week, whatever they want to say about you, right? When it isn't true, you never apologize and you never explain. They're the rules you live by. Never apologize, never explain. Because as soon as you do, guess what fucking happens? It's not good enough. Now they know you're weak. Now they know you'll capitulate. So then they want more and more and more. And that is what that's about. It's about expanding the territory. It's about asserting control. It's got nothing to do with the gesture. So Katy Perry comes out and apologizes and is collated by BuzzFeed. Where else? This is the reaction she got. So she said, I've made several mistakes, even in the This Is How We Do video with how I wore my hair, talking about cornrows, I think. Having a hard conversation with one of my empowered angels, Cleo, her stylist, about why I can't wear my hair that way. Or what is the history behind wearing the hair that way? And she told me about the power in black woman's hair and how beautiful it is and the struggle. And I listened and I heard and I didn't know. Now, this is like just fucked in a million different ways. Like, first of all, the power in anybody isn't in your hair. I'm not just saying that because I'm bald.
Yeah, it's not some like mythical beast that like if you chop off his hair, he loses his powers.
Yeah, it's not there, right? Is it? The struggle for black people, the power, the quiet dignity of the civil rights movement. These are the things you want to point to. The great leaders, the solidarity, the ability to sort of endure the indignity and to fight for your basic humanity in a society that wanted to treat you as inhuman. These are the things that you should be talking about. It ain't your fucking cornrows. And by the way, if hair is off limits, there's a bunch of weave salespeople that are going to be really sad. Because you can't have them anymore. You've said hair is where we draw the line. Our hairs must not mix. We can have children together, but we must not copy each other's hairstyles. That's the bridge too far, ladies and gentlemen. Well, come on. We got to get a fucking grip.
I don't know, why are you separating people so much? That's what I don't understand. I thought we'd be past this by now in our fucking society. That we still care about who gets to have which hair.
So the idea that that you cannot have a hairstyle. First of all, you think back to that famous video of that student attacking a guy for having dreadlocks because they belong to my people. I think we showed that in one of our early shows when we changed how the podcast operated. There's nothing historically that claims that the dreadlock is a specific black cultural touchstone anyway. In fact, many Celtic Picts, fucking all the Germanic hill tribes, all of these people have had dreadlocks, and it's a matter of historical record. So the idea that you have to be descendant from a particular black tribe in Africa or the Caribbean to be allowed to wear dreadlocks is historically unsound anyway. Not that it matters, because it's your hair. It's your personal right to do whatever you want with it. It's not a big deal. Then also she dressed up as a geisha, right? Even in my attention to appreciate Japanese culture, she said, I did wrong with the performance. How was this wrong? Do I need to go back and fucking erase from my brain Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
The mental thing is, the next sentence she says, I didn't know that I did it wrong until people told me I was wrong. What? Yeah. So if someone says you're wrong, you just go, yeah, okay, I guess I'm wrong, yeah. Fuck my brain. Let's listen to yours.
Yeah, and then she goes on. She said, I will never understand the struggle other cultures face because of who I am, but I can educate myself, and that's what I'm trying to do along the way. And I think that's a noble goal. Definitely educate yourself to the struggle of other people and history and that kind of thing. That's a good use of your time. But again, you know, as somebody that isn't the most well-read, but is reasonably well-read, the struggle... Right? The struggle for equality is not based in haircuts. It's not, you know, there wasn't a bunch of barbers saying, I have a dream. That wasn't what happened, was it? You know, the hairstyles are largely irrelevant to our societal standing as people. She also said she'd rather hear compassionate criticism and not clapbacks. Sometimes it takes someone to say out of compassion, out of love, hey, this is where the origin is, and not just a clapback, because it's hard to hear those clapbacks sometimes. Your ego just wants to turn from them. She made a joke about Barack Obama, which she was labeled racist for, because someone, after she changed her hair, someone said, hey, I miss your old black hair. And she said, oh, really? Do you miss Barack Obama as well? Oh, okay. Times change. Bye. See you guys later. This was deemed to be racist. If you can explain that to me, why that joke would be racist.
Yeah, how is that racist at all? She's just saying people don't like change, right? She's like, well, shit changes. Who's asked?
I mean, here's an example of one of the tweets that BuzzFeed has collated over this article. But look, Katy Perry lost all my sympathy after her racist jokes towards Obama and her dismissing cultural appropriation as a whole. So, I mean, you know, you can't even say, hey, do you miss Obama? Racist! He is actually Jesus now.
I actually don't even get... Is it because she said, I miss your black hair? Is it literally because you used the word black hair? It can't be, surely.
No, but someone said to her, someone said to her, I miss your black hair. And she said, do you miss Obama as well? And I think because somebody had said the word black and she immediately linked to Obama, then it's racist, isn't it?
But she just happened to have had black hair. And Obama was the old president.
I mean, again, it's a complete mislabeling. It's complete mislabeling. So,
mate, the people who are saying she's racist must be way more racist than I am. If the first thing that comes in your head when you read that saying is, oh, that's racist, then you're fucked. Because I didn't even think of shit like that.
Then as well, and this seems to me to be racist. She goes, I don't want to live in a segregated world. That's fine. That's not the part that worries me, especially in music. I've been able to collaborate with Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Juicy J, Migos. How can I collaborate with people and lift them up and give them that spotlight? How can I lift them up in a way that's good? You don't need to lift anyone up, darling. They're doing fine. They're doing perfectly fine. I'd argue they're doing better than you, a lot of them. They're not wandering around in some fucking drugged up haze talking about how they're appropriating culture and please tell me how to dress today, society, please.
Tell me when I'm wrong.
Right. They're just out there making fucking bangers. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kanye West did go a bit mad and tried to make out that Jay-Z was trying to kill him or something. But, you know,
he has got a couple of excuses to lose his mind, didn't he?
No, definitely. You know, it amazes me that people don't realize that Kanye West has had a massive mental breakdown.
Yeah, fully broke.
Yeah, fully broke. I mean, do you remember when he did that thing when he reached out to Facebook, Zuckerberg, and he said, will you fund my business? Did you ever see the business?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, you must have seen this, dude. This is unreal. Right, let me just find it. I'll find it. It was a plea for money, right?
Oh, there you go.
But, yeah, have you got it?
Yeah, on The Verge, I've got it on.
Yeah, let me have a look. Because is it the one where he outlines his business? Right. Oh, please tell me.
I mean, it just shows the tweet where he says, Mark Zuckerberg invests $1 billion into Kanye West ideas after realizing he's the greatest living artist and greatest artist of all time.
No, but there was this thing. Do you know what? It's probably been took down now. But basically what he did was Kanye West said, these are my ideas, right? And it was just like a flow chart. and it was just words like investment, technology, and like he was like, "Give me $1 billion to invest in this," and it was like I was like, everybody was like mocking him, and I was going, "Guys, he's mentally ill. He's having a breakdown. Like, help him, you know, help him. He's got emotional baggage because of what happened with his mother. He's massively in debt. Help him. Don't laugh at him." But no one wants to help him. So maybe she's not doing better than Kanye West, but certainly from a music perspective, Kanye West is, you know, like, who are we going to be talking about in 50 years? Let's just do this test. Are we going to be studying the work of Katy Perry in 50 years? Are we going to be recommending it to our kids in 50 years? No. Will Kanye West be talked about in 50 years? Yes, absolutely. I'll guarantee it. I will personally guarantee it. So Katy Perry will fade into obscurity like a lot of her acts, you know, that type of act does. But anyway, look. So then we've got some nice little tweet responses to the interview she did. Do you want to watch the interview? Because it's pretty cringe. It's only 2 minutes. Yeah, go on then. Right.
3.
Also, as well, I just want to point out, like, it's like being a Catholic, isn't it? I want to confess. I want to confess my crime of cultural appropriation. Can we get a black person in it? This is what I mean about, like, sometimes the most racist people are the ones that just simply desire not to be racist. It bothers them so much.
These are the ones that keep bringing up race every single time, where we're just like, can we just forget about race and be fucking all humans?
Yeah. So look, let's do it. Right, give me the 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, go.
I've made several mistakes, even in like the This Is How We Do video about how I wore my hair, and having a hard conversation with one of my empowered angels, Cleo, about what does it mean? Why can't I wear my hair that way? Or what is the history behind wearing the hair that way? And she told me about the power in black women's hair and how beautiful it is and the struggle. And I listened and I heard and I didn't know. And I won't ever understand some of those things because of who I am. I will never understand, but I can educate myself, and that's what I'm trying to do along the way. And even in, you know, my intention to like appreciate Japanese culture, I did it wrong with a performance, and I didn't know that I did it wrong until I heard people saying I did it wrong. And sometimes that's what it takes.
Be true.
It takes someone to say, out of compassion, out of love, hey, this is where the origin is, you know, and do you understand?
Shouldn't ask for consent before she touched his knee. That's another apology.
You know, because it's hard to hear those clapbacks sometimes, and your ego just wants to turn from them. And I've been so grateful to have great teachers and great friends that will really hold me accountable.
Great friends.
Great friends. You're not allowed to wear your hair that way, by the way.
I didn't know what that word
Fuck
meant.
you. What a great friend you are.
Pulled me aside
Thank you, Cleo.
Space and didn't shame me, didn't judge me. My friend Shannon, she just says, "Sweetheart, I love you, and I just want to show you what the Webster's definition in the dictionary says about what it is to be a feminist, and it's just equality." And so, like,
so are you a feminist?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
I am a feminist, and I think it's a beautiful thing to want equality for all females, for all women.
But not for haircuts.
And I know, in addition, that there are gentlemen out there that can judge me.
It's cut off for some reason. There you go.
Sorry, I've heard enough.
Yeah, probably saved us.
Yeah, that planted a tumor deep inside my skull.
I want equality, but where place?
But not as much as the replies.
Yeah.
The T is Katy Perry apologized for her cultural appropriation, and not a lot of artists have the guts to admit that. Woke queen.
Is she though?
Shout out to Katy Perry for spread information about cultural appropriation, learning from her own mistakes. Katy Perry admitting she did mistakes, especially regarding cultural appropriation. This is such a respectable act. I mean, it's not, isn't it? She's just sat there all fucking reamed out by life, right? Just reamed out by life, just given up. Just please, please, why won't you all like me? If I do this, will you like me? Well, no, we won't like you, because people immediately attacked it. And they said, look, she doesn't even seem apologetic. she's speaking up because she got called out. If she was genuinely acknowledging her wrongs, she would have apologized, not acted as if she didn't understand why treating people of color like props and costumes would be perceived as offensive. She's not treating people of color like fucking props, by the way. What's she doing? Like, I don't know why people think I'm racist, she said, as she put her feet up on a black man she was making pretend to be a table. You know, that isn't that. What are you talking about? This is what happened. It's fucking cornrows. It's cornrows.
It's a cock and balls!
It's a cock and balls, Sam! Katy Perry sitting down with DeRay to have a discussion on cultural appropriation and how clapbacks hurt. Laughter isn't even the word. What is? No, we don't know. Don't be fooled by Katy Perry acknowledging her cultural appropriation, laughing my fucking ass off. She's only doing it for positive publicity, and she's not. Got him. Katy Perry is 32 and Google is free. She knew better, but cultural appropriation made her rich.
Wait, look at that Twitter picture, by the way, who posted that.
Yeah. Oh, Steve, I'm looking at the banner, it's random Steve Harvey in a wig. Like, Katy Perry is 32 and Google is free. She knew better, but cultural appropriation made her rich. But now it's not working, so she apologized. I mean, I just don't understand.
I'm pretty sure they've been caught by a troll, right? Click on that profile. This looks like a parody account, mate. Yeah, but it's BuzzFeed who got wrecked, mate. They put it in. Yeah. What a bunch of dribblers.
Not bad.
He snuck through the fucking post.
Oh, no, yeah. Look at that pinned tweet.
227.
Free range chicken is expensive. Just give me some chicken that never made it out the hood due to institutionalized racism.
Yeah, and his address is 227 West Fuckery Avenue.
This guy should have a cock and balls on his tweets. That way we'd know.
What a legend.
Yeah, classic BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed wrecked again, of course. I haven't even noticed still.
Yeah. So that's Katy Perry with cultural appropriation. Now, Richard, this is not a big deal. Why are you bringing this up? Why are you bringing up Katy Perry's cultural appropriation? Because off the bat of Katy Perry talking about cultural appropriation and how she was sorry for it and how it was definitely a real thing, all of a sudden there was a flurry of news. You know, we've got him on the ropes. Said all the social justice warrior types. They may have to entertain that this is real. So what do they do? Check this. This is from Reason.com. And this is the UN effort to make cultural appropriation illegal.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is widely reported. I just like Reason.com's as a publication. It gets called alt-right all the time because it tries to operate from a point of logic. It's called Reason.com. That's code for Hitler. Right. A UN effort to make cultural appropriation illegal. Diplomats from around the world are meeting in Geneva this week to discuss how intellectual property laws can stop the misappropriation and misuse and offensive and derogatory use of traditional cultural expression. Or as the CBC put it, they're asking whether cultural appropriation should be illegal worldwide.
How can
Thankfully, I know it's mad, isn't it? Thankfully, that's just the worst case scenario. Thankfully. How about thankfully? It just isn't a scenario. Like, bureaucratic rot makes it unlikely that anything will get that far. The meeting is being held by the Intergovernmental Committee on Intellectual Property and Genetic Resources, Traditional Knowledge and Folklore, a group established in 2000 by the World Intellectual Property Organization, the United Nations agency. The committee's aim is to create legal protections for traditional cultural expressions, which can include music, dance, art, designs, names, signs and symbols, performances, ceremonies, architectural forms, handicrafts and narratives, or many other artistic or cultural expressions. I guess we'll file haircuts in there. Hairstyles go there. In the 17 years since the IGC was established, it is yet to establish any substantial regulations. Not a complete waste of money and time, then. What sort of appropriation does the committee want to stop? And this is when we start getting into American universities, the murky territory. University of Colorado law dean James Anaya, an indigenous leader and technical analyst for the IGC, points to products that purport to be made or endorsed by indigenous groups but aren't. At the Geneva meeting, Anaya offered Urban Outfitters' Navajo line as an example. The Navajo Nation actually brought suit in U.S. court against Urban Outfitters over the line of products in 2012, and the case was settled out of court last year. It's unclear how an international intellectual property bureaucracy would improve the situation. So again, for those that don't know, there was a clothing line made at Urban Outfitters called the Navajo line. The Navajo tribe, with a body now known as the Navajo Nation, got a successful, sizable settlement out of court from the corporation for using their tribal name.
Was that because of trademark, or was it because of cultural reasons? Or was it literally like, we have trademarked this name, you cannot use it?
Well, I mean, again, without looking at the specifics of the case, but, obviously the fact that they chose this individual to represent them, this is, it is on a cultural basis, right? Like you have, again, this is, so cultural appropriation. And to be honest, I don't necessarily mind it that much because, Native Americans did get absolutely fucked. So yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, all right, then. It kind of goes a little bit, like, it feels wrong, but you know what? Like, I've been to Native American casinos, and it's sad as fuck. So, like, just have the money. It's not like I shop at Urban Outfitters. Yeah. Anyway, but it's clear how this could create new avenues for rent seeking. The World Intellectual Property Organization generates revenue from fees, such as the one it charges for international trademarks. And any system the IGC creates is likely to include a similar international mechanism for registering whichever traditional cultural expressions get protections. Such a setup can have a chilling effect on any commercialization of folklore, even by members of the original indigenous community. So what they're saying here is how this could actually be a bad thing, because let's say I was a Navajo guy and I wanted to make my own business that made specific reference to my culture. Well, if I don't register the correct international trademarks with the IGC, I could be sued by the Navajo Nation. Again, this is just an example, even though I'm Navajo myself. It's a shakedown at this stage, and an incredibly dangerous one. After all, the same forces of globalization and decentralization that have made intellectual property laws more difficult to enforce offer the potential to drastically expand native producers' reach. Meanwhile, the same governments with long histories of abusing indigenous populations would be responsible for deciding who belongs to such populations and who faces criminal penalties for not meeting the government's definitions. Kathy Bowery, a law professor at the University of New South Wales in Australia, tells Reason that she would love to see the IGC succeed in setting up a system that genuinely protects Indigenous culture, but she has no hopes that it will, given the racist practices that mark everyday lives of First Nations people domestically. She says, "I'm not sure why there is an expectation that these states would operate differently on the international stage." So there's a big groundswell of support for this idea that, hey, that over there belongs to this culture. You can't have it. We are the only people allowed to use this, and if you want it, you must pay us for it. Isn't that grotesque? It's a grotesque thing to break down culture to. Just some building blocks. So this is definitely happening. This is something to be mindful of. All right. So, where should we go to next? How long are we into the show, by the way?
About an hour-ish. Yeah, about an hour.
Want to take a quick break?
Yeah, can do.
Hit these people with some ads.
Yeah.
While I go get my anti-sweat towel.
Yeah,
the Kate Perry.
10 in. All right, so.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a few. All right, welcome back, and thanks very much for your patience. There was one story I think we should get into here, just to sort of get us back into the flow of the show. we meant to cover this a while ago again, but obviously the shows have kind of been, all over the place lately. But this was just one over at Mike.com. Mike.com for me is rapidly approaching Salon levels of ludicrousness. It's completely bereft of any value as a publication, in my opinion. It offers nothing except the incredibly skewed opinions of the writers, which have no basis in reality anymore, because the people who choose to write at that publication are desperately ill and need help. And I think there's no better example than this. So this was a story from last month where a writer called Jetta Ray actually published an article, which, again, we've talked a lot on the show about what's happening in media. Games reviewers and games journalists don't want to be games journalists. They've given up. They know they're not good enough to be a political writer. So what they do is they pretend to write about other things where the barrier of entry, the level of expertise, the job opportunities are, a lot easier to get into. The skill set required is a lot less. And then they just inject their politics into that. That is why, literally, we have this slew of absolute garbage in things like tech media, games media, because the people aren't there to write about those subjects. The people are there because they can't be anywhere else. They are failures, and they are rapidly sinking down. And on their descent into their own personal hell of irrelevancy, they've clung on to something. And this is what they do. So this Jetta Ray wrote an article about Wolfenstein 2, right? But dressed it up saying, I fought the Nazis at Berkeley, and I can't wait to punch them in Wolfenstein 2. Now, I'll just go right off from the fucking headline before I read you some of the choice quotes here, is that you didn't fight the Nazis, did you? You've never fought Nazis. You've never fought the Nazis. I actually tweeted about this at the time. My grandparents fought the Nazis, right? That's the generation that actually fought the Nazis. My grandfather was a decorated naval officer, not particularly high ranking. I think like a couple of stripes. I'm not too savvy with the naval rankings, but got medals. Was on 2 boats that sunk. I think he had to swim to Turkey once. He's a bit like Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses in that sense. Classic stories. German soldier memorabilia found in a shoebox in his bungalow, which is where he ended up. My grandmother was a nurse in the UK, dealing with returning soldiers. These people made a contribution to fighting the Nazis. That generation did. In fact, those people put their lives on the line as part of a common resistance to a genuinely insidious and world-threatening force. What you did, Jetta, is you went to Berkeley dressed like a twat and ran around screeching because people are saying, hey, can we just have Milo talk here, please, without you wanting to burn things to the ground? That's not fighting Nazis, is it? That's not fighting Nazis at all. That's just being a fucking moron, you see. So, again, I understand why I understand why this generation needs to pretend that they're in some great struggle, because obviously the true struggle is just their lives. When you frame it as being part of this, like, hey, we were the goodies, we're resisting Nazis. You're not. You're just desperately fighting for relevance without any talent or discernible personality whatsoever. You've latched on to a bunch of imaginary villains to focus on because your life is bereft of meaning without them. But this article, right, again, ostensibly a games review, right? I am hyped as hell for Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, the latest entry in the 35-year-old video game series about American soldiers killing Nazis. This time, according to the trailer, the Nazis have invaded America, and it's up to you to lead the resistance in a version of the United States that seems content to accept its new fascist leadership. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Oh, yeah. I mean, just want to point out, right, again, you use a picture of Richard Spencer here next to Steve Bannon, which just again, as a point of information, Steve Bannon has never said anything comparable to Richard Spencer, ever. There is no evidence of this whatsoever. The only comment that has ever been attributed as being even vaguely racist or anti-Semitic came from an ex-wife during divorce proceedings that he didn't want his children to go to a predominantly Jewish school. That's as racist as it gets with Steve Bannon. Meanwhile, he works over at Breitbart.com that has offices in Israel and writes constant stories about victims of anti-Semitism. I don't think he's an anti-Semite, folks, and I don't think he's comparable to Richard Spencer, but whatever. Equally as well, Richard Spencer is a fucking moron who has no institutional power beyond that which the media give him. If the media ignored this fucking cretin, that would be it. He'd be just in a fucking room talking to the same 50 virgins who were there, right? And half of them are there ironically. They're ironic 4chan racists. They're not even real racists. He's not going to start a racist revolution, right? Richard Spencer is nobody. He is not a political figure we're going to talk about 50 years from now. He doesn't matter. He will be filed along with the Katy Perrys as part of an ephemeral culture that was meaningless, left no contribution whatsoever on the face of planet Earth. But of course, yes, obviously, with a Trump presidency, we it's as bad as having the KKK roaming the street. I mean, look at the picture they've pasted them over. You got two KKK people just out openly, actually being told to go away by a Nazi. For people who've seen the game trailer of Wolfenstein 2, swastikas just casually on the diners. Because the whole point is, what would it look like if the Nazis won the war? I don't think. Whatever. I think had Hitler won World War II, I don't think it looks anything like Trump's America. Call me fucking strange. I don't know. Anyway, this excitement isn't because I'm really into shooters or games about historical warfare. The only war that interests me is class war. I mean, come on, dude. Is this fucking real, dog? Like, again, is there a cock and balls somewhere on this piece of paper?
Yeah, we'll start checking the things on the edge. Oh no, they don't spell anything, mate.
Yeah, they don't.
Imagine if it just spelled mentally ill on the side. How good
would that be? Then I'd be all right. Yeah,
that would have been crazy.
Yeah, that'd be gaudy. And given that interest, I've organised against and counter-protested white supremacist actions. I was at the Battle for Berkeley. Again, the battle for Berkeley wasn't a battle. It was a bunch of fucking people who were socially incompetent and so fragile they can't hear opposing opinions, burning public property, pepper spraying women for wearing Bitcoin hats, and attacking men with sticks because of their haircuts. He looks like a Nazi. This is all true. This is documented. I'm not making this stuff up. It's just we taught Berkeley to death. Go watch earlier episodes of the show if you're interested. This wasn't a battle. It was just a bunch of vandals and thugs running around having their little moment, their little special moment. And actually, the police were told not to arrest you while you LARPed and did a little role play about what a brave resistance freedom fighter you are. Your generation would never have fought Nazis. You would have been a conscientious objector, wouldn't you? You care about fighting Nazis now when your life's not on the line. If you had to go on one of those fucking boats for the D-Day landings, where it was something like 4 out of 6 people didn't even make it to the fucking shoreline. Yeah, I don't think you'd be that interested in that. I think you'd be at home going, but killing is wrong. No, but we're killing Nazis, Jetta. We're killing Nazis. You're always talking about killing the Nazis. Oh, I could never bring myself to take another human life, you fucking chicken shit. You fucking absolute fraud. I was at the Battle for Berkeley where I was tear gassed 3 times. Good. Not enough. Hit him with the fucking grow-up gas. Hit him with the fucking grow-up gas.
Couple of water cannons and some grow-up gas will set you straight.
Grow the fuck up. where I was tear gassed 3 times and hit with an explosive. Oh, God. Hit with an explosive that left me unable to hear out of one ear for the rest of the day. You mean you heard a loud bang? Like, hit with an explosive. Sam, are you familiar with Breaking Bad?
Yeah. Do you remember when that guy lost half of his body?
Yeah, do you remember when a certain guy who we won't name was in the room with a certain explosive device and it hit him on the side? I mean, I'm sure he couldn't hear for the rest of the day because half his fucking head was gone, wasn't it? Because that's what explosive devices do. Anyway, afterward, the alt-right passed around photos of me on social media as proof that Antifa were getting men to dress up as women. Oh, Bantosaurus Rex, that is, mate. Oh, that's classic. Like, oh, you've been fucking wrecked. Actually wrecked. Like, so I appreciate, now back to the game. So I appreciate that game developers, the demographic that was embroiled in the alt-right's predecessor, Gamergate, understood the conviction and catharsis that necessitated a game like Wolfenstein 2 in times like these. It's just a sequel. They just want to make money. I don't think they're really... Now is the perfect time to release this game. Their understanding of the dangers of fascism may not be immediately obvious under all the robot dragon dogs and hovercrafts and wacky bosses, one of which turns out to be a hentai octopus from another dimension.
Spoilers.
I don't think that happens, Sam. Can people in the chat did I miss a level on Wolfenstein? Is there really a hentai octopus from another dimension on there? I don't remember that. You can't really escape those trappings of excessiveness in a big budget video game like this. But for all its gleeful artifice, Wolfenstein 2 has a spark of the hyper-real. The Nazis of Bethesda's Wolfenstein 2 loved genocide and strawberry milkshakes. I mean, they were known for it, weren't they, the Nazis? There you go, people saying it didn't happen. I thought so. So, did you remember that? Do you remember that in Mein Kampf? Ich nichten, lichten.
Hentai.
And the drink of purity is the strawberry milkshake, not the chocolate. Never the chocolate. Come on, dog. Like, what the fuck, man? They love genocide and strawberry milkshake. They watch game shows. They have disobedient pets. They're concerned with their nutrition. They beg and bleed when you catch up to them. Oh, she like that part. We'll fucking isolate that. Right. Oh, sorry, probably gender fluid. Z like that part. Nazis are usually a reliable antagonist in video games and action movies. In part, that's because beneath our outward loathing for the butchery of fascism lies a corrupting doubt in ourselves and in one another that when faced with fascism in the flesh, some of us will fail to recognize or confront it meaningfully. This paragraph, this is what we call projection, Sam.
I thought I was just going to say Nazis are usually a reliable antagonist because everyone hates Nazis. What a surprise.
But also, you see, the reason that they're a good antagonist is because we all think, wow, if fascism arrived, what would I do about it? Would I stand up to fascism? Right? And what they mean when they say that is, they mean, I'm standing up to it. You see, these people over there that I'm wrongfully calling fascists, you know, people, free speech advocates, why aren't you standing up to them too? That's the trick. That's the trick. So our desire to conquer this insecurity has driven a genre of fighting Nazi video games. It also escalated the image of Nazis from men who enact genocide for empire to immortal mad scientists who dabble in demonology. These Nazis are cartoonish villains. There's a profit angle to that, no doubt, as there is behind many forms of conditioning. We live in a time where trans people are denied basic human rights. We don't. While Abercrombie and Fitch purposely markets its pride merch to straight people. Not sure how those two things are tied together. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. And then they have a photo underneath this of a guy who says proud supporter of the Muslim ban, which if he'd these are bad examples of human beings because there isn't a Muslim ban. So you're a proud supporter of something that doesn't exist. It's like, you know, I am a proud supporter of the hentai octopus in Wolfenstein. Doesn't exist. I am a proud supporter of Phantom Lord's law firm. Didn't exist. Doesn't exist. Didn't happen. And then next to it, obey God's law. What are those? He's got a few. Not all of them are smart. And then look, we cannot coexist with Nazis. White nationalism is antithetical to a society founded on justice and equity. You're absolutely right. So anyway, because I don't want to read the whole article, but she just go on and on and on. Like, just look at some of this stuff. Nazi brains uploaded to sentient computers. Yeah, and mate, it's mental. The whole thing's just all over the place. It's like, what are you doing? Punching a Nazi is good and good for you, but if you don't complement it with long-term organizing around multiracial, multigender class solidarity, you're putting a band-aid on something that needs sutures. This is the problem, though. You're not mentally equipped to label people Nazis because you're mentally ill. So... But anyway, you can go read the rest of that if you want to get brain damage. But there is a generation of people out there who think that they're legitimately fighting Nazis. They're not. They're just running around with dye in their hair, screeching like a bunch of idiots. And unfortunately, a large number of these people who think that they're fighting the Nazis, the Z-Nazis, they're back. They're professors. You know, we keep bringing this up time and time and time again. There's this mad fucking movement among academics in America where people hate white people and somehow they think Republicans, conservatives, they're all Nazis, and white people have this like Nazi streak within them. Again, I'll take you to this one on campus reform. This is a Trinity College professor called Johnny Eric Williams. And again, I don't know what the bar is to become a professor anymore. I don't know what it is. I thought you had to like, it's not just about having the doctorate, right? Or the necessary qualifications. I mean, you've got to be emotionally and mentally stable enough to teach people. Yeah. Right? So none of these people qualify. So this is Trinity College professor Johnny Eric Williams, who said, "It is past time for the racially oppressed to do what people who believe themselves to be white will not do, put an end to the vectors of their destructive mythology of whiteness and their white supremacy system. I'm fed the fuck up with self-identified whites' daily violence directed at immigrants, Muslim, and sexually and racially oppressed people. The time is now to confront these inhuman assholes and end this now."
What does self-identified white mean?
I think what you have to say is, I think once you start moving into an area where transracial is real, you have to say that anybody who self-identify, like they're giving you the out. You can be on our team, just don't identify as white.
But isn't that, if I pretend to be someone else, isn't that appropriation, surely?
Possibly.
If you're trans race, do you get to use that racist culture? Is that still cultural appropriation?
Now, if that sounds tame, all right, if that sounds tame, I will show you what this professor wrote after, I believe it was after the Scalise shooting. And we talked about this, the reaction kind of from the left to the Scalise shooting. He wrote a blog called "Let Them Fucking Die," which, as you can probably tell, he's not a very stable person, Sam.
He's a bit fucked in the face, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit fucked in the face. So he wrote this blog, "Let Them Fucking Die," and in it, I'll read you some of the highlights. Again, I won't take too long on this. He said that bigots, which includes members of Congress, should just be left for dead. They should just be left for dead. What does it mean in general when victims of bigotry, this is because of the well-publicized story, again, by leftist outlets, that one of the paramedics that saved Scalise's life was a black woman. What does it mean in general when victims of bigotry save the lives of bigots? Right? The author begins by asking, later saying that his black peers imagine that by becoming a shining example of this righteous behavior, we might somehow guide these cannibals into becoming upright beings capable of following the very rules they enforce upon us. Right? And then he said that readers of this blog should do nothing if you see somebody labeled a bigot in trouble. You'll like this bit, Sam. If you see them drowning, if you see them in a burning building, if they are bleeding out in an emergency room, if the ground is crumbling beneath them, if they are in a park and they turn their weapons on each other, do nothing. Least of all, put your life on the line for theirs, and do not dare think doing so, putting your life on the line for theirs, gives you a reason to feel celestial. Saving the life of those that would kill you is the opposite of virtuous. Let them fucking die and smile a bit when you do.
What the fuck is wrong with this cunt?
He's a professor, mate.
This is mental. How can nobody have a problem with this cunt teaching people? What the fuck?
This is university campuses in America. University campuses in America. These are the people that reach out to the young and impressionable and get to implant the seeds of their education moving forward. This is somebody who is literally saying, if you see a fellow human being in trouble who you suspect might have political opinions you disagree with, the correct and proper thing to do is let them die.
That's so mental, man.
Let them die. Yeah, I mean, that's a great banner on his Twitter feed as well. Like, what is it?
Oppression.
Yeah, but he says, like, our right to disagree or something.
Yeah, we can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression.
Which it isn't, because no one's oppressing you, dude. You've got a very, high-paid, glamorous job, and it seems you can get away with saying outrageous shit, almost as if there was this thing called freedom of speech. So, yeah. But again, it doesn't end there. I mean, like, they're also not just in universities now; they're in schools, and again, the educational sector is overwhelmingly filled with these incredible leftist thinkers. This was another example here of a Philadelphia school principal who just went mental about Trump supporters. For no discernible reason, really. I mean, again, he just lost his fucking mind, like they all have. So you'll see here, this is the Philadelphia school principal, John Sheeran, and he's a principal within the Philadelphia school district, and you can see he was talking about an Antifa attacking Trump supporters. He even referred to a Kekistani flag as a Nazi flag, which, of course, no, it's a parody of a Nazi flag. You know.
Yeah, but keep calling it a Nazi flag. That's what I want, because then hopefully people will realize, hang on, they're just mental, aren't they? They're obviously just mental.
Yeah, definitely should do that. Cheers for the sub. The Tabetta plays. All right, good. So yeah, and then you can see as well as videos. I don't know if you want to play these. Do you want to play these videos?
I can't do the attack ones.
Yeah, sure. We need to see some footage. This is how Antifa are rolling these days. So I'll do the top one, the 1 minute 13 one.
Oh, is everyone just on bikes?
Yeah,
or the police?
Yeah, police just up.
I mean, this is the most tragic fight of all time, to be fair. Look at them. Look at these messes, man.
The cycle brigade. Like.
Fucking hell.
Hear that? Fuck Nazis scream. There's no Nazis, of course. Then run, Nazi, run.
Not Nazis, are they, though?
Yeah. I don't know.
They just don't think the same thing as you.
You're
attacking politics.
You're attacking people in the street because they're waving a green flag.
Mentally Neil.
Right, so there was that one, and then there's this the sobbing Antifa rioter who got arrested below it.
Look, that's the Kazakhstan flag. Mentally ill. That guy. Fucking hell. Sobbing. Turns out you can't assault people, mate. We would have known.
That guy is still mentally ill, isn't he? So anyway, this prompted this teacher went into a tirade against Trump supporters who called out this video saying, it's wrong of Antifa to attack a peaceful collection of Trump supporters in public. So this is what a principal of a school had to say about it. Yeah, fuck it. And fuck you too. I'm done talking to you white trash pussies. See you all on the 15th if your asses aren't in jail by then. By the way, whichever one of you said that my son didn't belong there. I guess his son must have been involved. You unfortunately missed me by 10 minutes. I thought that your little brownie troop had left for the day. Little Antifa girl in a pink shirt steals your Nazi flag and you squeal like stuck fat pigs. And now you claim that a guy started it. Just look at the videos. Most of you standing there waving a cell phone with one hand and playing pocket ball with the other. Now talking shit about kicking Antifa ass. What men you are. I'll send you the video that shows my son trying to separate your baboon from pushing and grabbing a small woman. It will be sent to the police in the DA's office, along with other video. Did you ever consider taking up creative writing? That means bullshitting if that went over your head. All right? So this is a fucking teacher. He's just lost his mind. And he says, like that, in his opinion, this is all fair game. The Kekistani flag is a Nazi flag. He honestly thinks that these people were standing up to Nazis. And then he just goes to school and no doubt splurges his politics all over the young and impressionable mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure he doesn't do any of this in school, of course. I'm sure he's a top professional.
Yeah, and you can see, this is what made him go mad. Someone replied to him saying, I don't know what's worse, the fact that you are supposedly a teacher or that you advocate violence and theft against those that disagree with you. I wonder if the school board and principal know about your extracurricular activities. That's where we drop the whole I'm the principal, bitch. Guess you're not accountable to anyone then. Guess you're the sheriff in this town, mister. You encourage your son to align himself with an organization that advocates violence against those practicing their civil rights. You're proud of your son getting arrested for assaulting a man that was retrieving stolen property, and that wasn't a Nazi flag, you fucking idiot. So they're all over the place, mate. They're all over the place, and you can't stop them. All right, anyway, let's talk about Otto Warmbier. Do you know what Otto Warmbier is?
Otto Warmbier? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Great name. Turns out he's dead, Sam.
Oh, yeah, the guy from North Korea who got fucking ruined. Yeah.
He did. Well, so here's the thing, and I want to pick your brains about it. Now, I was always brought up in kind of the, I was always told to go, when you go abroad, you must absolutely respect the laws of the country that you're in. And there was a case when I was a kid about some guy who'd gone over to Shanghai or I can't remember where it was somewhere in China. And he'd done something and he got the lash. He got 50 lashes or something for some low level crime that he committed. And it caused a lot of debate. I remember as a kid, my mother telling me, look, if you go abroad and you break people's laws, you pay their punishments. And that's how you respect other cultures. I was like, okay, well, it kind of seems that if something is barbaric and wrong, it's kind of barbaric and wrong wherever you do it, but whatever. The same way I don't like, look at those men and women holding hands in Saudi Arabia to the gulag, send them straight to the, it's unreasonable, right? But whatever. But what I thought was interesting was that the left heard this story about Otto Warmbier. And they were loving it. They were really reveling in what happened to him. Now, Otto Warmbier, for those that don't know, he was a guy, he went to North Korea, and while he was there, he jokingly tried to steal a flag, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, bad call. Bad call. Bad
I'm not sure I'd be doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, right? But he did. But as a result of that, he was arrested. He was detained. He's 22 years old. He had to confess to his crimes. And he was basically publicly humiliated in court. He had to confess to what he did on TV, and he was crying and breaking down about it. And then he was arrested, and he was told that once he had served a period within jail, he would be returned to the United States as part of the negotiations between the Trump administration and the North Korean leadership. Now, at the point that he was arrested, I don't know. It kind of seems to me, right? Like the left hate fascist regimes, right? They hate totalitarian regimes, don't they? You know, they say all the time, Donald Trump is a fascist. Donald Trump is a totalitarian regime. You know, we're imprisoning political activists. We're imprisoning journalists. We're imprisoning whistleblowers. Oh, my God, this is disgraceful. How dare we do it? So I would have thought that these same people would be absolutely aghast and horrified that a genuine totalitarian dictatorship had imprisoned an American citizen and were treating him, by all accounts, absolutely appallingly, right? But that isn't what happened. I mean, there's several examples here of some of these left-wing publications and what they had to say about it. So I'll just give you some examples here, Sam. This was the Huffington Post. Always rely on them. The Huffington Post says, North Korea proves your white male privilege is not universal. Right? This is what they said at the point he was arrested, as if it was great because he was white and he'd been arrested for committing a low-level crime and was being held by a vicious totalitarian military regime in a prison. They thought this was hilarious. They thought this was really, really funny. What else? Well, what did Salon have to say? This is proof from Alex Griswold, which is hashtag Griswold. If you want, he writes over at Free Beacon. You can see here he had a tweet that showed a now deleted Salon article. They've since removed it. You'll see why. This might be America's biggest idiot frat boy. Meet the UVA student who thought he could pull a prank in North Korea. So he wasn't a victim in any way, shape, or form. He was an idiot and deserved to be arrested. On top of that, we had this is Affinitive. This is Affinity magazine, because somebody said that this was a young kid, you know, he's in his early 20s, he was 22, and he was being tortured by the North Korean regime. And you can see here, Affinity magazine, watch whiteness work. He wasn't a kid or innocent. You can't go to another country and try to steal from them. Respect their laws. Now, yes, I think we can all agree we should definitely respect the laws. Do we respect torture? Because that's what happened to Otto Warmbier. Now, Otto Warmbier, when he was returned by North Korea, he was suffering from extreme brain damage and was in a coma. And he shortly died afterwards. Now, clearly what had happened was he'd been beaten viciously, he'd been kept in appalling conditions, and his body couldn't handle the abuse and the trauma, and he died. And he died at 22. This was a student with a promising, life laid out ahead of him, and dead, killed at the hands of a foreign power in a prison after being subject to things that completely contravene the Geneva Convention. But there wasn't an outpouring of grief. I mean, the leftists thought this was hilarious. I mean, there was Larry Wilmore as well, who did a show on Comedy Central, did a whole bit about it, and were kind of laughing about him. They even said he was a member of an imaginary fraternity, Alpha Sigma Sigma, ass. right? High level, well, fucking hell, high level comedy here.
I'll take it right.
So they all thought this was fucking brilliant, and now, needless to say, the reality of what happens when you get tortured by an actual regime that doesn't respect human rights has come to fruition, and nobody gives a fuck. And it's interesting because the leftists, again, they operate in this quantum super state, all right, where he wasn't a kid, okay? He wasn't a kid, and he should respect their laws, right? Okay, so Otto Warmbier, it wasn't a kid, and he should respect their laws. Okay, well, I guess we'll be logically consistent and apply that to everyone. Well, no, I'll give you another example. Omar Khadr. Heard of him?
No, I don't think so.
All right, well, I'll let you read about Omar Khadr. You can go, here's a Wikipedia page. You can bring it up. Now, it's quite a sad story. And I'll be honest, I'm not inhuman. I do have a lot of empathy in this kind of situation. Omar Ahmed Saeed Khadr, who was a Canadian citizen who was detained at Guantanamo Bay, and he'd been there for 10 years after he pleaded guilty to murder and war crimes. But his case is very unique because when he was 16 years old, he was wounded in a firefight during the invasion of Afghanistan, where he was fighting alongside the Taliban. Right, and he was interrogated. He was captured. The firefight itself, he was directly responsible for killing Sergeant Christopher Speer, who was an American medic. He threw a grenade at him, and it killed him. This was seen by several people in the military, and they captured him, held him at Guantanamo Bay, and he was interrogated by U.S. intelligence officers and given access to Canadian officers as well to come in and supervise to make sure a Canadian citizen that was fighting abroad as a foreign combatant was being treated within their standards and practices. Now, he pleaded guilty, and due to the young nature of his, he was young and he committed these crimes. So due to that, they took a kind of lenient stance, and he got like an 8-year sentence overall, right? And he was the first person since World War II who had been prosecuted for war crimes while still a minor. So this immediately opens up all of these problems. Now, again, I'm sympathetic. I see child soldiers being co-opted and conscripted by African warlords. It's fucking awful. And this was a kid as well that I think it's safe to say the adults around him definitely misguided him. But equally as well, I mean, 15, 16, you're not getting off with a murder at that age, right?
You still know what a grenade is at that age. So,
and that was taken into account during his sentencing. Now, it's interesting because here we are talking about Otto Warmbier and how he should respect other countries' laws, and he basically deserved to be beaten to death for playing a goof in North Korea. Well, this Omar Khadr is like a civil rights celebrity. And it was recently announced, much cheering, much applause, that this individual is going to receive $10.5 million from the Canadian government.
Oh, yeah, I did see this story. Yeah, I did see this, actually.
This is the Canadian government's announcement, which was published last Tuesday, that they're going to basically pay him $10.5 million to apologize to him for reasons that aren't in the report. So he was led astray by Arab Islamists. He was fighting with the Muslim majority Taliban Afghanistan Freedom Fighter Organization, or whatever the fuck they were called. But he is, he's copped to killing a soldier in war and has pleaded to be guilty of war crimes and human rights violations. And he only got 8 years. But now he's been paid $10.5 million in some sort of compensatory measure. And I'm kind of perplexed as to why people aren't going, well, you know, he wasn't a kid and you should respect the laws. And we're not hearing a lot of that, actually. And people have been trying to explain why he's getting the 10 mil. But Justin Trudeau can't explain it. He dodges questions about it because it is coming out of the Canadian taxpayer's pocket, by the way. This is public money.
How do you even come to that figure?
Well, there's been an ongoing lawsuit, hasn't there? And this is the thing. They've been desperately trying to get this settled because as soon as the time was served and the individual was released, people were saying, well, you know, this is a huge miscarriage of justice.
How, though? He was fighting with the Taliban, throwing grenades at people.
Yeah, you know, so if you look here, it says they started the lawsuit in 2013. It was originally for 20 million Canadian dollars, and they filed it against the government of Canada, saying they conspired with the US to abuse his human rights. He said he signed a plea agreement because he believed it was the only way he could gain transfer out of Guantanamo Bay, and he claimed he had no memory of the firefight in which he was wounded. So they've now agreed that it'll be $10.5 million. And bizarrely as well, the widow now of the soldier he killed with the grenade has now filed for a $134 million lawsuit in Utah. So I don't know. I mean, it just seems to me, again, there's this like mad logical inconsistency. Like either, you know, he was led astray and it was wrong and we should treat people right. And in this instance, it was completely wrong of the American government to detain him in Guantanamo Bay, which were appalling conditions. It's an appalling prison. It's an affront to the Western world. But we allowed that to happen. Obama said one of the first things he would do when he came to power is he closed Guantanamo Bay, still open when he checked out 8 years later, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So we either say that, you know, actually, yeah, it's wrong when foreign powers abuse our citizenry, or we agree that, you know, sometimes you've got to pay the piper and respect people's laws. And Otto Warmbier stole a flag and was beaten to death. This guy threw a grenade killing someone and was given $10.5 million. You know. So... And I know for a fact, actually, I'll get called racist for that, for saying that I don't think this guy should add $10.5 million. I'm sympathetic. I'm honestly, I can't stress it enough. Like, it's awful that the parents and adults in his life probably corrupted the mind of the kid to the point where, as a young man, he's decided to bear arms against the Americans and take human life. I think that's awful.
Yeah, that is fun, but doesn't the same thing happen to everyone? Like, if someone murders something probably happened in their life, right? If someone murders somebody, you don't know what led them to that murder. You can't just backtrack people's lives all the way to the start every time they commit a crime. Otherwise, nobody's going to go to fucking jail for their crime, are they?
So I thought that was pretty crazy, you know. And like I said, the Otto Warmbier thing's a fucking disgrace, and the way that was treated in the press was a disgrace. But equally as well, I mean, you know, $10.5 million for killing an American soldier now. I mean, what a world. What a world. Now, I think we'll do a few funny ones, do a little palate cleanser, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. All right, because it's getting late for you, Sam. Right, what should we do? Let's have a look. I'm going to save that. Oh, I'll tell you what. Here you go. Right. Let's just quickly talk about the things because, you know, we haven't talked about the Trump administration for a while on the show. You know, we talk a lot about the Trumpers and how Trump's evil and we laugh at the leftist thing. you'd be amazed how many reports actually don't get addressed of the Trump administration doing something positive for the American people. It's almost as if the media was biased. I know that's so hard to believe, ladies and gentlemen. I know that's probably a shock to some of you. But this report went really down low key, right? And at a time when we've got, austerity measures, people are talking about, we're really feeling the pinch. Well, actually, just as a matter of fact, they haven't reported about the all-time highs on the stock market, which has continued to grow. Do you remember how all those business experts said if Trump gets into the White House, the uncertainty will cause the collapse of the stock market and we'll go into recession? Do you remember that?
Yeah, remember when Kurt Eichenwald sold all his stocks because he didn't think they were all going to crash, and now his kids have no college.
Yeah, and then within a month later, he was selling socks, right? Weird, isn't it? Because that hasn't happened. In fact, businesses are, the stock market's thriving. Everything's on an upward trajectory. Now, here's a report that was in Forbes, and this is it. The Trump has done what he said he was going to do, as good as his promise. I mean, keep in mind, he has foregone his salary as president. I can't remember any other president in history doing that. Do you?
No.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. Again, chat, correct me if I'm wrong. But he has also streamlined the White House payroll in such a way it's going to save taxpayers $22 million. Right? And here's how he's done it. This was an independent study that was conducted where they looked at all of the statuses, salaries, positions, titles, and everything of all the White House employees, and they've done a direct comparison to how it looks under the Trump administration and how it looked under the Obama administration. So there's now 110 fewer employees on White House staff under Trump at this point, and this is not Obama at the end. This is at the respective point in their presidency, so equal. So Obama came in with this big bloated cabinet and all these other employees and stuff working in the White House. Trump has 110 fewer employees. He's got a $5.1 million in payroll savings versus the Obama 2015 payroll. In 2017, the Trump payroll amounts to $35.8 million for 377 employees, while the Obama payroll amounted to $40.9 million for 476. 19 fewer staffers are dedicated to the First Lady. So they had 24 staff who just served Michelle Obama. Right? Meanwhile, they only have 5 who were dedicated to Melania Trump. Counts of the assistants to the president, the most trusted advisors to the president, are the same. Both of them had 22, but their pay is kind of almost equal. It's leveled out. The highest compensated White House staffer is Mark House, the senior policy advisor, who gets $187,500 a year, and he's on detail with the federal agency, and that's in line with what Obama had in his administration as well. But basically, overall, that all of these savings, if they were to stay in the position where they're at, it's going to save taxpayers $22 million. So
give half that to Canada, mate. They can pay off that bill. There we go.
Yeah. And it's interesting as well. Because when Donald Trump said he was going to forego his paycheck, it's actually part of the article. It's in the United States Constitution that there has to be a presidential salary. So that's why Trump's getting it, and then he donates it. So he's donated to the Department of Interior for military cemeteries, I think was his most recent donation. So whatever the presidential salary is, he gave that to somebody to repair military cemeteries. Now, again, I don't know why this isn't being more talked about. I mean, I think a $22 million tax break to the American people is news. I think this is worth talking about. I think this is exactly what Trump said he was going to do during his campaign promises. He said he was going to, drain the swamp and streamline the White House and all of that bullshit and what goes on in Washington. Nowhere. It's nowhere. There's not. Where's the headlines? It's crazy, right? This is a talking point. And it just seems to me insane. that we're not going to talk about that at all in the press, because why would we? Why would we talk about that? Why would we say, you know what, it wasn't all bad? Now, meanwhile, I did have a laugh at this. This is NPR. We've highlighted them on the show before. At one point they were just another press outfit. Now they've gone the way of The Animal. They have gone into complete biased reporting. But this I thought was hilarious. I thought this was so fucking funny. So Appalachian Wrestling. Now, I love wrestling. When I was in Birmingham, we used to have a local wrestling promotion that used to put on shows over in Bournville, which is Quaker Town, in a like working men's club, which is one of the few people you can get liquor. You have to pay a fortune, because it was like Bournville was like some little idyllic part of Birmingham that was made by Mr. Cadbury, the guy who owns Cadbury's chocolate, and he was a Quaker.
Yeah, there's a chocolate called Bournville, right?
Yeah, and that's what this place is called in Birmingham. And you can't get booze there. It's super hard to get booze anywhere in this tiny part of Birmingham because of the Quaker rules and regulations. But there's this one working men's club where, because of the rules around working men's clubs, it can serve alcohol. And every week they have this small wrestling promotion on, and occasionally they do get some big names. I'm trying to think who we saw there. It was one of the Guerreros. I want to say Chavo. Maybe not. But anyway, a long time ago. So small wrestling organizations, a great comedy. You get to see, like the wonderful physical theater of wrestling, which is what it is. It's basically a soap opera that's kind of, instead of a script being the driving force of the story, choreography is. And anybody that sort of denigrates wrestling, I think they're idiots. I think people who come out and go, oh, but it isn't real. Yeah, dude. Fucking play isn't real, is it, you fucking retards? It's still entertainment. It still tells a story. That's not really Hamlet. Yeah, of course, yeah. It's not real. Yeah, I get it. Do you think it's easy to pick a fucking 400-pound guy up and fucking throw him down in a way that doesn't hurt him? You think that's easy? People are retarded. I can't even believe people look at wrestling and go, the worst thing about it is how fake it is. No, we all know. All wrestling fans know that it's fake. But anyway, in the there's a wrestling promotion in the Appalachian Mountains called Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, appropriately. And all of the people in the Appalachian Mountains are Trump supporters. So do you know who their big villain is? He's called
or something.
He's called the Progressive Liberal. It's so good, mate. Just have a look at the picture of him here. He's got pictures of Hillary Clinton all over his leotard, mad triggering all these Trump fans. It's so good, dude. I'll just read it, right? So his costume, most weekends, Daniel Harnsberger dons this Hillary Clinton outfit in semi-pro regional circuits as a stereotypical coastal elite who trolls in Donald Trump country. He occasionally also wears a shirt that says, "Not my president." So he literally goes out there. He's just like a low-level wrestler, but he just fucking plays up to it. And he was like, they were telling him he was like wrestling for like $5 and a hot dog. That's what because low-level wrestlers, you get paid shit, right? And he said that what you need is a gimmick. So he tried to think about how he could be a villain, right? How do you be a villain in the Appalachian Mountains? Well, he realized that he needed to become a progressive liberal, the biggest heel. So look, he says here, he took the microphone and brought some of Trump's campaign rhetoric into the ring. He said, "I hope Trump doesn't build a wall around Mexico. Instead, I hope he builds it around this town so you people can't infiltrate the population." Everyone's like, boo! He's a liberal! Kill him! It's so fucking funny, dude. So yeah, and he says in the ring that, you know, when he gets the mic, he says he's going to reprogram Trump supporters to make them favor renewable energy over coal. Well, obviously the Appalachian Mountains, dude, they're all fucking coal miners. So boo, fuck solar power, boo. So yeah, it's absolutely fucking brilliant. And his finishing move is called the liberal agenda. That is fucking brilliant. He's hit him with the liberal agenda. I think that's so good. He does say at the end, I'm a progressive liberal in real life, so he's obviously mentally ill. But it's a shame. He ruins it at the end. He ruins it at the end. Because I'm a progressive liberal in real life, so I think this would generate reaction from fans, especially the place I was going. And then, you know, NPR throw it at the end. He's a great heel because he believes in what he's saying and is justified in his actions. So there you go.
He's a good heel because he's actually this mental.
But I thought that was fucking brilliant. Like, seriously, what a fucking legend. I don't care. Again, I don't care if he's a liberal. That is fucking hilarious to just be out in the fucking mountains. Like, I support gay marriage. Boo! It's like what was that other character that fucking Sacha Baron Cohen did? Bruno.
Yeah.
Shit, when he kisses that dude at the rodeo. That's one of the best fucking things I ever seen. Like, it's so good. Like, all these fucking proper redneck motherfuckers just like, no! 2 men are being happy! Kill them! So yeah. But on the flip side as well, it's, you know, obviously Appalachian Mountain men can be crazy. Turns out so can liberals as well, just in case you forgot about that. This is where we're going to end the show. Baseball. Now, do you understand baseball? I don't have a fucking clue.
Nah, not really. I've tried to watch it before, but fucking hell, it's just mind numbing. I never really got it. I don't mind watching the highlights of it, but I don't want to sit the entire game to see the highlights, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't even understand what's going on. As far as I can tell, right, a guy throws a ball really fast and a guy who's taken a lot of steroids
slams it the fuck.
Yeah, as to try and smash it with a stick. And if he smashes it in the right direction, it goes for something called a home run. And if it doesn't, then people get to walk around anyway and can have another go at smashing it with a stick a little bit later on.
What I get told by Americans is it's just an excuse to get fucked up. They're like, yeah, you don't even have to pay attention to the game. You just go and you all get fucked up.
And
sort of like a pastime.
We say that about cricket, right? Like over here as well. But yeah, I mean, like I love baseball computer games. I used to love them on like the Super Nintendo, like, you know, good fun. But I don't have the foggiest. And when it came to like Channel 5, which is, you know what, back when a new channel in England was a big deal. You know, we got 5 channels now. Like, meanwhile, America, like, surfing through 900 channels of absolute garbage. Like, we got 5, also garbage. But yeah, they brought in Channel 5, and late at night they started showing baseball, and I'd just be watching it, and it'd just be like all this like mad terminology, like, and the deuces are loaded with the batter up, and we're in the innings of the thing, and what the fuck like. You know, I don't understand anything that's going on here. Why can't it just be, you've won stickball? You know? Why can't it just be that, right? So anyway, obviously I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I do know one thing about baseball. It wasn't started by the KKK, Sam. I know, I wasn't.
Caught me off guard with that one.
No, it wasn't though, was it? It wasn't started.
I don't remember Daniel Carver slamming a big one, mate, into the stands.
Yeah, I don't remember that. So here's the thing, though. A woman went fucking mental recently over this, and I'll fucking give you the article because they have this thing where every time there's a strikeout by a pitcher, they put a K up to show that there's been a strikeout. Now, this is as I'll show you, this is a long-standing tradition in baseball for reasons I'll explain. But look, you can see here, really disappointed with this sign at the new Braves Stadium. Definitely not okay. And look, you can see KKK. Now, does this mean that the KKK have infiltrated baseball, right? Because you've heard the bullshit as well. You know, like Marlboro packs. You ever got told that when you were a kid? And they'd unfold it and go, see, there's a K there and a K there and a K there if you look at it all.
Frozen, by the way.
Probably the KKK got me. Right, there we go. So anyway, right? So, people used to talk about Marlboro packs and how it was secretly owned by the KKK. It's just retarded bullshit. And this is retarded bullshit as well. And you can see, like, what? WTF? Seriously? Right, okay, so somebody replied and said, you do realize that's the recorded number of strikeouts by the Brave pitcher? And then rather than just sort of like, oh, that's a bit embarrassing, I'll let that one go, they should figure out a different way to record it.
We should change it because I am sad about it. You must all change for me.
We should figure out a different way to record it because it's offensive. And someone replies with, if you watch enough baseball, you will see it in every Major League Baseball ballpark. Just because it happens everywhere doesn't make it right. Then I'm black and this doesn't even offend me. Come on, Mom. You must not care about your race as much as I care about yours.
Or you're mental.
The benevolent white deliverer. And then someone's like, hopefully there was a fourth strikeout in the game. And then someone says, I think the fourth strikeout was that tweet. Now, if you scroll down as well, Deadspin actually fucking fucked up and ran a story about it, right? And then they changed it. They edited this. Originally said something along the lines of like, oh, are the KKK in baseball? And then they realized, oh, hang on, we're just being fucking retarded. Now, where does it come from? Why are they holding up K's?
Yeah.
Right? What you see? Yeah. So I had to look this up because obviously I know fuck all about baseball. The only thing I remember is, I remember fucking, what was he called? Barry Bonds was this big. And then all of a sudden he was this big and he was breaking all the records and apparently he never took steroids. I mean, that's my knowledge of baseball. Definitely 100% did though. 100% did though. Him and Lance Armstrong just had the fucking system down. You know what I mean?
It's taking mate, down a pint of vinegar, you be sound.
His fucking nuts have shriveled up and dropped off. Nah, not right. Definitely not. Not
just
right.
Ill.
Just ill, mate. Just ill. By the way, I'm off to win a fucking Tour de France ravaged with cancer. Nothing to see here. Like, what? No one suspected, really? Come the fuck on. Anyway, so why does that happen? So I got this, and it was in Journal Times, which seemed to have a nice little succinct description of it. So here it is. Right. Why does the letter K stand for a strikeout? And this was a question asked by an 11-year-old. So it's great to be in that company.
At least he knows to ask questions first, other than the person who tweeted it.
Yeah, he didn't just assume racism. Yeah. So anyway, Henry Chadwick is a little-known baseball pioneer. He was an early journalist with a poetic interest in baseball and is the father of baseball scorekeeping, which is the most perfect record in all of sports. One glance, and you know exactly what happened, when it happened, and how it happened. Chadwick expanded a scoring technique developed by colleague M.J. Kelly. Both were sports writers in New York City in the 1860s. So Chadwick used S for sacrifice. Now, I don't know what a sacrifice is in baseball. I guess it's when you deliberately put yourself out to have a more prominent person take the base, I imagine. Because obviously you can get caught between bases and then you're out anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but if a better player if it's a choice between you and your garbage and a better, so imagine it's that, but I could be wrong. And they chose, because obviously a strikeout begins with an S, but S is already taken. So they chose K because it is the more prominent letter when you say strike. Yeah. It's there, right? So that's what they used. So some scorers use a forward K for a swinging strikeout. They even have backward Ks for a batter caught looking, apparently. So there you go. And you can look this up yourself. It's in The Game of Baseball, written in 1868. So it's been around a while. I don't know when the KKK was formed, but it might even be before them. Who knows? So there you go. A little bit of education at the end. And just to continue that education while we close the show. Do you remember there was a list of things you shouldn't put in your vagina, Sam?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, we did a show. You're not supposed to put wasps in there. Remember that?
Yeah,
Don't
I do remember
put wasps in your vagina. You know what else you shouldn't put in your vagina?
stingy nettles.
You definitely shouldn't. Right? Glitter bombs. Why is this been announced?
Why have you got glitter in your urethra? What have you been doing?
Forget ground up wasps' nests and Gwyneth Paltrow's jade eggs. The latest in over-the-top feminine trends is women putting glitter bombs in their vaginas, and physicians want them to stop. Known as passion dust, the latest in unicorn trend novelty products, which is sold out, by the way, is intended to make a woman's nether region look and taste better. I love licking glitter, me.
Yeah, I know. Love me some chemicals when I'm eating someone out. Give me that.
So yeah, like candy apparently during intimate moments. Passion dust is not a liquid, lubricant, or gel of any kind. It does not induce or create any physical sensations or physically alter your sexual performances. Its only purpose is to add a spark and flavor to your natural vaginal fluids to make the experience of love making that much more fun and enjoyable for you and your partner. And again, I've never been having sex. And do you know what would really put this over the top? If there was just some glitter just chafing. If
you could make it look like I was fucking a unicorn right now, this would be ideal.
If there was some glitter chafing my glands right now, this would be so hot. You know what I mean? I've never thought that.
You know what's almost as good as a fag after sex? As in a cigarette, calm down. Is scraping the glitter from underneath your balls for the next 3 days. Nothing better than that.
Right. So what you do is you insert a capsule into your vagina and it dissolves and releases its contents, which are gelatin, starch, glitter, acacia, gunpowder, and vegetable stearate. I don't even know what that is. Right. And then what it does is
to be inside
your body's your body's physical responses help to release the passion dust. The more excited you get, the faster the capsule dissolves.
So in other words, it dissolves in moisture.
So there you go. Nice little oxymoron coming in. Creators of the product insist it's safe, but warn that it may trigger an asthma attack.
Oh, mate, imagine just a married guy having to phone an ambulance from a strip club because he got too close to a glitter.
So it's totally safe. Totally safe, but may trigger an asthma attack if you have asthma. So anyway, we'll skip to the doctors. Doctor says, this is Dr. Yolanda Kirkham, who's an obstetrician and gynecologist at the Women's College Hospital and St. Joseph's Health Centre in Toronto. Not only are these trends bizarre, they're also concerning. When it comes to the vagina, there's a delicate balance of pH, but also normal bacteria. And I already see a lot of young women in my clinic with concerns about their vagina and discharge. So I think that this would just continue to add to that problem. Yeah, putting foreign objects and glitter in your vagina is probably bad. Further, we do have a cervix that protects the uterus and our abdomen, but people can get pelvic inflammatory disease if the infection travels up towards the abdomen. The vagina wasn't meant to have random objects placed in there, especially if it's a sticky substance and hard to clean out. So there you go. And the passion dust replied to the story. We have no intentions in addressing every negative story.
We've been gone all day.
We're too busy dealing with that man who died of an asthma attack. We have no intentions in addressing every negative story or media news request, because no matter what statements we issue in defense of our product, it'll be someone's job or mission to dispute, debunk, or discredit every statement made. We would never ask women to use our product against medical advice, and we address such concerns on our Q&A page.
Did you see, when they brought up Gwyneth Paltrow, did you see what she was selling?
Yeah, minge eggs.
Yeah, they're rocks that you put in your vagina.
Yeah.
And then she just started selling stickers that heal you as well, some healing stickers. She's just lost her mind, mate.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at these eggs now before we close the show. Jade eggs, right?
Yeah.
What are they? Huffington Post have got it. Even the Huffington Post is saying this is a bad idea. So it's definitely a fucking bad idea. Look at this. Huffington Post. Gwyneth Paltrow wants you to put this egg in your vagina. And then, then it just says, don't. Please don't. So what do they do? What's so good about them?
She says that, like, I remember it because it was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I was listening on the way home. But she says something like, the stickers, anyway, they're able to alter the energy flow in your body, so it realigns the energy to where you need to heal or something. So if you got a bad belly, you just put it on your belly, and the energy will flow to your stomach, and it'll make you better. I don't know, mate. It's just mental illness, isn't it? Yeah,
that is mental illness. Can you stick these eggs up your ass?
Probably, like. Ain't tried with mine.
Sounds like a wager. We'll have to do that on the next show. No, but I mean, would it have the same healing effect?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, bring the energy into my ring piece. Help me shit. Yeah. Great for constipation.
Nice, holistic, just gravity shits. No,
you can literally shit out an egg.
Yeah, just no. You don't have to push. Just gravity. Just. Woosa. But yeah, she's mentally ill, and she's fucking lost it, mate.
I can't tell if she is or if she just wants.
Is she still with that cunt from Coldplay?
I'll check now.
Because I mean, that would fucking turn you mental, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I can imagine that cunt listening to his own music around the house. You know what I mean? Look at the stars. Come on, I've heard Yellow 50 times today.
Apparently, her and Chris Martin got a divorce.
All right, good. But maybe that's upset her. We don't know what terms it was on. What if he wanted out? Can you imagine being...
It was like a long thing. Apparently they were already divorced, but it took a while to sign the papers and shit. So 2 years ago they broke up, apparently. And this was from fucking 2016. So 3 years ago.
Can you imagine how you'd feel if you got fucking rejected by the cunt from Coldplay? It would tip me over the edge. Because he's a cucklord. And there you go. One last thing, and then we're definitely out. It's got nothing to do with anything, but I just don't want to end on fucking Coldplay, you know. Have a look at this cunt, right? Think of the worst person you've ever sat next to on a plane, right? Just think of it right now, and then have a look at this cunt. He's out of control, mate. Look at this. This is a report on the well-respected uni lad, right? Airplane passengers forced to strap down drunk Russian covered in blood.
What the fuck?
Come on, boys.
He's losing his motherfucking mind.
Yeah, I know. Just let's watch the distressing, aka hilarious clip.
Hell.
Yeah, give me a 3, 2, 1.
Okay, hang on. 3, 2, 1, go. Has he done that to himself?
At the moment. He drops a blare.
Oh! Yeah. At what point, mate, do you just choke someone out on a plane? Because you're being unreasonable.
Now, that's pretty bad. Do you remember that one of that Indian guy?
Yeah. I'm going to die!
Also a personal favourite of mine. Let me find that for you. The Indian guy in a plane. Shoot me! Here we go. Here you go. Just we'll end with this guy. He fucking loses as well. I mean, like, thing is, I'm a bad fly. Like, I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. But holy shit, I couldn't. I don't know if it's like some quintessential Britishness that we're usually quite reserved or something. I couldn't. I just couldn't even bring myself to have a freak out. Do you know what I mean? I have to lock myself in the bathroom.
Even if you were dying, you just die quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Die quietly. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, when I had my fucking cardiac arrest, I went to a taxi. I didn't bother anyone. I was like, yeah, I think I need to go to the hospital, mate. You know.
My heart's going.
Right, okay. Woke up in the hospital after the epinephrine. And all my money gone, of course, but fair play. You saved my life. You can keep that. It's good. You know what I mean? But yeah, just play this guy. He's a classic. It's classic banter. He's so upset with being on a plane. He's begging to be shot. I don't even know where to begin. Hey, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, go.
Shoot me! Shoot me! Shoot me! shoot me now. Yeah, I'm going to be dying. I'm going to be dying today. No, you're not going to die. Yeah, I'm going to be dying. I'm going to die. Help me. Oh, you're fine. Help me. Help me. No, I'm going to die today. I'm going to die today. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Yeah, I'm going to die. Help me. Help me.
You're not gonna die. As if just telling that over and over again is gonna work.
No, but I just love how he alternates. Like, what he's got, I'm going to die. Shoot me. Help me. Mate, you're kind of all over the fucking place here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do? What do I shoot you? Do I help you? If I shoot you, am I the reason you die? Are you going to die anyway? Should I just save the bullet? You know?
I know. He's taken too many edibles before he got in the plane, mate. Fuck his life up. Look, mate, just have a couple of these and go straight to sleep. I'm gonna die! I'm gonna fucking die!
We've all got one mate who's either fucking hit a bong too hard or done too many mushrooms.
Yeah,
I'm going to die! You know, you're alright, Kev, man. Just fucking relax. Like, you're just on shrooms. They're gonna die! Help me!
They're coming! Nobody's coming, mate. Yeah, nobody's coming, mate.
You're really interrupting my buzz, but...
We're eating shrooms in the woods, mate. Who do you think's coming? Who do you think's coming?
It's too much, isn't it, mate? But yeah, that Russian guy was fucking out of control. He was fucking out of control. So anyway, I think we can wrap it up there. You know, I mean, I was going to bring up Tariq Nasheed's been DMCAing everyone. I'm waiting for that to happen. That's coming. That's coming soon to a channel near you, Sam. Because he's been to DMCAing everyone who's been using his videos. But we can probably talk about that. I can't do tomorrow. I got to go and film some stuff. I could maybe do a late one. We'll see. But if not, we'll do it the day after. So yeah, any thoughts from you?
Rest in peace, easy. Never forget.
Never forget. All right, then. So that was the Richard Lewis Show. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, and all the people who donated and subbed and all of that good stuff. Oh shit, Sam, we were going to put up a sub counter. Yeah. All right. Good. Let's get that done so we can see when we hit the mythical, 250. But yes, so thanks a lot for watching. If you're watching it on YouTube, remember that YouTube is definitely unsubscribed. Just for the sub there, Source Ricks at the end. They're definitely unsubscribing you. And they're also doing this thing where if you are subbed, this is the other bug that I found out about, they don't show you the video. Yeah, they just that's that. You just don't get it. You just don't get the video. So yeah. They're yeah. It's no way not to get wrecked. And if you're watching this VOD, have a look and have a check, because I get about 6 messages a day now of subscribers saying they've been unsubscribed from the channel. I tweet at YouTube, they never respond. Basically, they don't want this channel to hit 100K for reasons I don't understand. I'd love them to explain it to me, but I guess we'll get into that sometime in the future. Anyway, from the Richard Lewis Show, from me, Sam, and all the other voices in our heads that make this show possible, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.